Power Rider Fusion.
帮坏人做什么？
因为坏人很酷。
Backed by popular demand and now with your recommendations, more Tokusatsu from outside of Japan, not counting American Toku. How could I have missed this one? Coming from France is France 5. It's one of the cheapest and most cheesy Sentai homages I've ever seen, and that just works in its favor. Look at the choreography and tell me that they didn't have 5 minutes to learn it. The costumes seem like they come from a party store, the Megazord is made out of cardboard and... wait, is that the boom mic? But as I said, it kind of just works. This is like one of those Sentai parodies you'd see in the background of a sitcom, but made real. Actually, that's the idea of France 5. There are only 6 episodes, but in universe, there are as many episodes as a real Sentai would have. I find it a bit weird that episodes 1 through 4 were released yearly starting from the year 2000, then episodes 4 and 5 coming out in 2012, then 2013. France 5 was apparently worth waiting years for. Well, I'd say so, since they could later afford better suits and commercial bumpers. You can probably guess the story already. Evil organization, 5 teenagers with attitude, and the MacGuffin of the year, that being the Eiffel Tower. But what makes France 5 more interesting is that it uses music from Sentai shows like Bioman. Believe it or not, France 5 had a following in Japan that attracted the singer Akira Kushida, who sang the themes to Sun Vulcan. If you want a cheesy experience with a budget of a ham sandwich, then definitely check it out. France 5 is a lot of fun. The Tokusatsu genre was getting bigger in Korea during the early 2010s, so SFX Fantasy Rayforce was on the right track to getting big. I hope I don't have to point out how cool this looks. Those suits are beautiful, the cinematography is gorgeous, and there was a Gundam-looking mech! Unfortunately, plans fell through in 2012 and Rayforce was cancelled. All we have is this music video and concept, but just look at it. Even if the story was going to be the generic good versus evil, everything else would make up for his planned 26 episode 2-season run. Hey man, all I'm saying is that if we lived in a timeline where Rayforce was real, I'd probably be saying to watch it more than I already do suggest watching Legend Hero. By the way, please watch Legend Hero. Anyway, it's a shame SFX Fantasy Rayforce isn't a reality, but I'm glad that we at least have some footage. We move away from Korea to another pitch that fell through, this time from Australia. Defenders of the Earth, Rescue Force. Like before, all we have is a limited amount of footage, but this looks pretty awesome. The suits remind me a bit of Metal Heroes with a dash of Kamen Rider, while the villain looks like a Panda Man. I'm not sure if the show would look this good because of budgetary reasons, but the choreography is amazing, and everything else looks very well made. A brother-sister duo fighting a family of villains, all before class starts. I'd watch it. Defenders of the Earth Rescue Force. I hope you become a reality one day. Here's one you may know because the angry video game nerd himself, James Rolfe, talked about it during Cinemassacre's Monster Madness. From the year 1975, out comes a Hong Kong film called The Super Inframan, or The Chinese Superman. No way I could give this movie any justice just by talking about it. But it's a classic with boom, boom, boom. I wouldn't say that Inframan is that cheesy since the usual Toku tropes here have their charm. The suit itself reminds me of a Red Inazuman. The rest of the film looks cheap, but not like France 5. Seriously, look at some of these costumes. I bet a lot of the budget went into the dynamite. If you want some good old Toku with explosions, then go for Inframan. It's worth a couple of hours of your time. Forget what I said about France 5 being cheesy and cheap. Insector Sun, the Guardian of the Earth, is where it's at. This Brazilian Toku is definitely a thing. Let's be honest with ourselves. Tokusatsu from before the modern age is extremely cheesy, and kind of still is today. However, I'm completely okay with that. You could only get these effects from long ago. Insector Sun is so innocent and pure. The old school TV quality just adds to the classic charm. I think it's really cool that even something like this can gather a following since I've seen fan art of the cool suit. Just goes to show that you don't need Hollywood money to enjoy something. You just need passion and a dream. Although I don't know if I can recommend Insector Sun over something like France 5 or Inframan, but it's an experience that you won't get from Japan. I can tell you that much. What's this? The Gaim logo. Gaim? Okay. I don't know what's going on, but this is amazing. Okay, so apparently this is from Thailand and was made to promote Kamen Rider Gaim. Would this count? I'm gonna let this one pass since Gaim is Japanese, but the video is cute. My life is now better knowing that this exists. Let's move on. You've probably seen this photo floating around several Facebook Toku groups and Twitter. From the creators of Armor Hero comes a series called Battle Strike Team. The first in the series is called Giant Saber, but this particular one is called Space Deleter. And it is so awesome. I don't know any Chinese, but if the suits in action are cool, then that's all I need. The effects aren't too bad for a TV show either. I can't gush enough about how much I love the suits. Honestly, I'd say that these are one of my favorite Sentai-like costumes. This came out in 2015, but they're doing Q-Ranger before Q-Ranger did. And again, it's awesome. If you want a really good fix of a space-themed Sentai, then go for Space Deleter. Wait, hold on. That 6th one looks so cool. Oh my gosh. Oh, but you probably want to know about Giant Saber too, right? Next time. I talked about Bima Satria Garuda in the previous video, so let's talk about another Indonesian toku. I alluded to this one called Sphere's Trinity. Rather than being on television, this was made to be a web series, which you can watch on YouTube. While I'm not a fan of the pantless suits, I do enjoy the cinematography and Amazon's filter. It's a battle between good and evil with the power of spheres. The action is really good, and I suggest watching Sphere's Trinity just for that. Saving the biggest one for last, and yes, this counts because it's a production from Korea, officially by Toei. To make a very long story short, Korea airs Super Sentai but with the Power Rangers name. A Japanese Sentai became so popular that a different country made their own sequel with the OK from Toei. Kyoryuger is known as Power Rangers Dino Force in Korea. Dino Force Brave, the sequel series, takes place after the events of Kyoryuger, but now with a new team and new suits. Debos returns as Neo Debos and they attack Earth. Yeah, the story is pretty much non-existent since there are only 12 episodes that are 12 minutes long each. But you know what? This is too awesome. The Zords and suits are basically repaints, however, they go a long way to make these feel fresh, but still respecting Kyoryuger. Go full Brave and give Dino Force Brave a shot. That's all for now, but I hope you found something to binge on next. Thank you to those that requested these shows, and thank you to my patrons, especially to Mr. Reed for requesting this video.